Jason! 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 Jason!
Hello everyone!
Hey!
Welcome back to our channel.
Yeah.
Today we talk about another game.
Yeah, we have another game review for you today, and this one's a pretty cool one. But before we get into it, this was recorded on a PlayStation 4 Pro, and there will be spoilers ahead. This game is
Heavy Rain.
Yeah. So, Yajing has been a huge fan of these Quantic Dream games.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah, she started out with Detroit, and then Beyond Two Souls. We have reviews of both of those up on the channel if you want to hear what we thought about those games. But she's been playing the games in reverse from the studio, Quantic Dream, and she just got to Heavy Rain.
Yeah. You introduced this game to me, so this one is before Beyond Two Souls, even before the Detroit become humans. So, is this their origin, like the first generation?
No, actually, the first game I know of that they created at Quantic Dream was a game called Omicron, the Nomad Soul. And then they did a game called Fahrenheit, which was called something different in other regions of the world. Indigo Prophecy is what it was called here in the US, and I believe it was called Fahrenheit in Europe. But yeah, this was their first PS3 game. What did you think? Because I know you're full of thoughts about this game.
Yeah, I think this one they were very brave, because this one even come out before Two Souls, right? Beyond Two Souls, but in the Two Souls you only can play either Jodie or Aiden. Yeah, so basically just two characters and in one body. And this game you can play 4 characters.
Yeah, I think 4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah. So you definitely control multiple characters. That's the plus.
Yeah.
And they're very brave to me.
Yeah, I remember when this game came out on PS3, and this is actually my second time playing through the game and Yajing's first time. But I haven't played this game since it came out on PlayStation 3. So, yeah, this is the game running on PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah.
And it's definitely been upgraded, but I remember that this was like tech demos for the PS3. Quantic Dream showed off what they could do. And it's really interesting to see kind of now, after I've seen their most recent games, the game that I really got into with Quantic Dream, Heavy Rain, and kind of how it holds up now.
Yeah, because by my play experience of this game, the story is great. I like the story, and so many different professional people involved it. That's good. And at the end, the murder surprised me. So it's Scott.
Yeah, Scott the detective. And I think one other thing to get into, this definitely has kind of a psychological thriller movie kind of vibe. Still very cinematic. It's a Quantic Dream game after all. So they definitely want you to feel like you're in this film. And I will say they do a good job. It reminds me of films like Seven or Silence of the Lambs. Gives you this kind of 90s psychological thriller kind of vibe. And it's all about one of the main characters. His child goes missing just very randomly after he's at a park with him. And it kind of goes into these other characters and how they're attached to the main character of the game.
Yeah, during the game, I kind of lost. I thought maybe it's the dad, Ethan, right?
Yeah.
I thought that maybe it was Ethan, but he's not, obviously, who does it to their own child. And another one, I was thought about the cop, not that detective.
Oh,
I thought the cop.
Blake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
thought he
mean-
was
mean
the
cop.
murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very. They wrote it very well. It tricked me. So
Yeah.
this is a plus.
Yeah, I think this story definitely keeps you gripped. Like a lot of the Quantic Dream games that we've run into, there are some plot holes that you notice as you're playing the game. There's this scene where Scott Shelby, the detective, is in this convenience store, and the convenience store gets held up, and you just kind of like kick like the guy, and then you like kick his gun away from him. And then you just talk to the guy at the counter. The gun's right there. The guy's right there. He could wake up any moment. So
Yeah.
you kind of feel like it was written well, but they didn't know what it would look like in the game when it was written.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of ridiculous. You wouldn't just take that away from the guy that held up the store.
Yeah, in the real situation, they should do some more things about the guy. Like,
Yeah.
at least tied it up.
Or call the police or something.
Yeah. Like, minimize his movement
Yeah.
possibilities. Yeah, this is a kind of, bug.
Yeah, I'd say just like a hole in the story.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. You can
Yeah.
tell the story was written. It's very kind of convoluted. There's a lot to the story in the game. But with that said, yeah, you do notice these kind of plot holes as you go throughout the game. And, talking about films, the game also reminds me of the Saw films, where, you kind of have to go through these trials to save your life. You very much have to do that to save Ethan's son's life in the game. You go through these horrible kind of ordeals where you have to make these decisions of will you do it or will you not. It kind of culminates with deciding to take your life to save your son, and it definitely has a very Saw-like vibe as well. So I find that interesting.
Yeah. And can you believe it? Ethan was the only one, say yes to all the questions.
Yeah,
Did
well,
the orders did whatever he asked him to do.
yeah, because that's another thing. You don't have to say yes in the game. There's multiple different endings to Heavy Rain. I've now seen 2 different endings because of Yajing's playthrough. And she actually got more trophies than me on the PS3. I looked back on my PS3, I got 40% of the trophies. She got 42% on her playthrough. So yeah, she got a little bit more of the story than I did. But it was great to see her play through it and kind of see her decisions. And yeah, she did agree to go through all of the trials that Ethan had to go through to save his son. You don't have to go through them though, but the story will drastically change if you don't.
Maybe you can save your son if you don't.
Yeah.
You don't do it.
Yeah.
Of those things.
Yeah, and these things are pretty rough. I don't know how much we can say just because of YouTube. We are spoiling all of the game, but really bad things like driving into oncoming traffic is one of the things you have to do. All the way to ending somebody and yourself possibly if you make that decision.
You need to cut off your own finger.
Yeah.
This is kind of, I just like, who does it?
Yeah.
And he did a very good job. After I made my decisions, he did a very good job to make me feel regretted right away.
Well, I think that's actually a great segue onto the controls of this game. Because Quantic Dream games, we've mentioned this before in our other Quantic Dream game reviews, but they're not known for having the tightest controls. And this game, I think especially me playing it again and seeing Yajing playing it again, after playing the newer games from the studio, I have to ask you, what did you think about the controls for this game?
Worse than the Beyond Two Souls. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say far worse than Detroit Become Human.
I don't even want to compare with Detroit.
Yeah, you can definitely feel how the studio has tried to create its own kind of control schemes, but this is really a game where you need to have a second pair of hands.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Obviously, you can play it alone, but yeah, you really twist your hand around the controller.
Yeah, you need to have two hands on just one side of it.
Mm-hmm.
You need to press for example, triangle plus square plus R1 or something like that.
While you're tapping R2 or something.
All at the same time. So I just like, this is not reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, there were times we were playing and Jing was like, okay, hold triangle now, hold triangle. Because she would be holding the controller at some crazy angle.
I already used for both of my hands. I don't have any more hands. I need extra help. So yeah, it helped me a lot. I think they did fix this issue.
Definitely in their later games.
In the Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, because another odd thing in this game is you have to hold R2 just to walk.
Yeah.
Which is
and
really
control the stick.
Controls the head of the character.
Yeah, the direction.
Yeah, there's a scene very early in the game where you have to take a shower, and I remember we were just like, is this game glitching? Why can't we figure out how to take the shower? And it turned out you weren't supposed to go into the shower. You couldn't even walk into the shower.
Yeah.
You had to walk to the sink, move his head to the right, and then it gave you the option to get into the shower for some reason.
Another thing is when the character in front of the camera, but the item is in front of him.
Right.
And the hint is very blurry because you kind of difficult through the body to see the hint.
Yeah, the camera.
What to do.
Yeah, the camera is not perfect in this game either. Again, they did refine this in later games, but it really is glaring after you play Detroit, Become Human, and Beyond Two Souls that you have gone backwards in terms of like when the games were released. And I think that's a good point to come to the graphics of the game because, yeah, actually, what did you think about the graphics? We'll start there.
The graphic is not better to Beyond Two Souls to me. Not like very detailed.
Right.
At least Beyond Two Souls, they have, the storm or the view is better. That Heavy Rain is pretty cartoon to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the studio really made a logical step with the next game, Beyond Two Souls, of having actual actors from Hollywood play these characters, because you don't feel like there's a lot of facial capture in the game. I remember for the tech demos for the PlayStation 3, they really showed off what the studio could do, and they actually showed some of the models that made it into Heavy Rain. And it was amazing for the time, but it really did far better in their later games with actors. And I think it also comes down to just the voice acting in the game is weaker generally, I would say, than something that came later from the studio. You definitely feel like a lot of the cast is European, speaking with an American accent, and it can be a little jarring sometimes, especially because it just doesn't sound natural if you live in America. I really haven't heard many people speak like some of the characters in this game speak.
And the character's movement not as smoothly to compare with Beyond Two Souls. It's kind of glitch or something.
Yeah, the animations aren't as good for sure. Not as smooth.
Yeah, and the FBI character, he has the fancy like sunglasses and the glove on the right hand.
Ari.
Yeah. You will see in the game, there at almost the end, you will see he's waving in the air.
Yeah.
It's like a VR today.
Yeah.
But it's pretty crazy. Look like he's not normal.
Yeah.
But when he's showing the view, showing the world he sees after he wears the sunglasses, you do understand what he's doing.
Yeah.
But without that, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I'm totally with you.
Yeah, I just like, but it's pretty fancy technology.
Yeah, and I remember, back when I originally played the game, thinking, will they ever have like glasses like that? I wonder if, the FBI actually has those kinds of things, but no, it was definitely something, at the time where you could tell, David Cage and the team over at Quantic Dream, they wanted to create something that would lead to interesting gameplay mechanics, and for that, the RE system does give you some interesting gameplay mechanics. You can scan the environments and then kind of just get clues that kind of go into this database that you later use to figure out how to investigate.
Yeah, but his character made me remember Conan in the Detroit Become Humans. Because the way how he examined the scene, touch, and that's like Conan did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like actually when we were playing Heavy Rain, we noticed that there are a lot of traces of Heavy Rain in Detroit Become Human. There's a hotel scene in both of the games. Yeah, there's the police station. You can kind of look in on criminals the same way you can in Detroit as you can in Heavy Rain. You definitely feel a lot of that DNA is in there.
Yeah, like Heavy Rain is the grandpa and the Young Tuso is the dad and Detroit is the son. Yeah. Also, in the Heavy Rain, there's a hospital. So Scott's mom has Alzheimer's and in the hospital. Yeah. And this is the one very similar as the Young Tusos.
Yeah. You definitely can see the DNA of the storytelling kind of throughout the studio's games. But yeah, also, let's take a moment to just talk about the sound design. What a soundtrack to get your heart racing. Definitely very anxiety-inducing.
Very special thing I still can remember is when I have to cut off my own finger when I was Ethan. And that thing scared me. And also when I shoot someone because the note said I need to kill someone. That scared me. Yeah, that's how I remember.
Yeah, definitely a lot of moments, just with button tapping in the game, where you have to do these really important timed button taps. There were a lot of moments that Jing just kind of hit pause, threw the controller at me and said, do it.
Yeah, and the generalist, the fire was on, the apartment was on fire of the Scott. She trying to escape. I scared that time. Yeah, so these 3 moments.
Definitely. But yeah, I think with that, we can go ahead and review the game. So, out of 5 stars, what would you rate Heavy Rain?
3.6.
Oh, wow. I was gonna go 3.4 for this one. If I was reviewing this game years ago, I would have rated it higher, but yeah, the studio's really done far better with this kind of game, this interactive story drama. So yeah, I'd go with a 3.4 on this one, but I think 3.6 is pretty accurate.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
So that's going to be an overall score from us of 3.5 out of 5 stars for Heavy Rain.
That's right. But I do see their improvement after we play these 3 games. They really improved a lot.
Yeah.
Think about the Detroit of Humans and compare with Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
How far they went. So
absolutely.
I'm glad to say that.
Yeah, and I'm curious too if anybody else has played Heavy Rain, whether it was on the PS3 or if you played the PS4 version. So do you think that we should go back and play some of the older Quantic Dream games, like Omicron, the Nomad Soul, or Fahrenheit, or Indigo Prophecy, whatever it's called here in the US. I'd be really curious. I've never played either one of those two. Are they better, you think, than Heavy Rain? Really curious to know what you have to say.
All the games he haven't mentioned, but you also recommend us to play. We will love to hear that.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's it for this review. We do have some another great travel video for you coming out later this week, so can't wait to have you stick around for that. And thanks again for just stopping by the channel. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. We will see you next time.
See you soon.